We're going to cover some new topics, things you should focus on for this brand new year. So let me know. Like I said, I waited a little bit for people to jump in, and I'm going to give you a roadmap, a plan, a strategy to execute on for the next year. Like something very specific that you could work on to improve your sales skills, but not only skills, but obviously your ability to close more deals and grow your business. So here's the deal. Let's walk through this. There's 4 things you should focus on in the new year. Let me just draw the grid out. 4 things you should focus on in the new year. And again, if you do these 4 things, you're going to be very good at what you do when it comes to selling. The first one is obviously, can't get away from this one, is prospecting. Prospecting is how we acquire new clients. Now, granted, this is tough to do. It's not easy these days, right? Especially as we move into the new year, potential recession, it's going to happen. It's going to be tougher to get new business. But nonetheless, we have to figure out what's the best medium for us to acquire new clients. Now, whether it's cold call, cold email, inbound marketing, different strategies, content marketing, whatever it may be, find out what is your best combination. There's not just one or two. Every time you hear about cold calling is dead or this is dead, emails are dead, it's not. It's just a combination of things. And then we have to get better at them. For example, I often hear like, Victor, it's not worth sending people email. They're not reading them. Well, maybe it's because we don't have the right script, the right value proposition in that email. Victor, I heard it's not worth cold calling. Depends. How big is the deal? If it's a transactional sale, you could argue it's not worth it. But it's a big B2B sale, enterprise sale, of course it's worth it because in the long run, if you get one deal out of 10, let's say, it's worth it. So again, figure out what your prospecting strategy is for this coming year. Stop listening to other people. Everybody has an opinion about what works and what doesn't work. You have to find out what works for you. Next, we talk about, this is one that a lot of people just undervalue, which is your ability to present, communicate value. Presenting is the delivery system. In other words, we've prospected, we got the customer in, so to speak. So whether it's a demo or live face-to-face conversation, how do we present? And most salespeople still have not figured out the art of presenting. They think it's about just throwing out information. Presenting it's a skill. It's really about guiding the customer, right, to a certain conclusion you want them to arrive at. So once we got the prospecting down, we got presenting down, the next one is, how do you position, this is a good one, how do you position value? This, if you ask me where most people struggle, it's right there. It's positioning the value. When you sound just like everybody else, people don't pay attention. But if you learn how to position value, in other words, learn how to position the value in such a way that the customer goes, never thought about that. I get that. Really, never looked at it that way. But also, by positioning value, you need to be able to position yourself as a subject matter expert. In other words, you got to know what you're talking about. You can't have surface level content. And again, when the client's asking tough questions, you can't answer them. Which is why I always tell people, once you decide that you're going to sell a certain product or service, you have to go so deep into that product or service. I mean, so deep into it that people go, this person truly gets it. This person understands. Because when the client knows that you're a subject matter expert, you seem to be providing insight that they haven't thought about. Insight, information beyond the obvious. And it's impactful information. I never thought about it that way. That's when you know that you're reaching that level of mastery as being in terms of positioning value. And at the end, when you can let the customer know, transmit to the customer, I know what I'm talking about. Here's things you should understand. And last but not least, you look out for their best interests. That to me is the pinnacle of selling. The last one is always the toughest one, which is pricing. Now, here's the interesting thing. Pricing shouldn't be that hard. If you know how to prospect, qualify the right clients, you know how to present, in other words, you know how to deliver the content, you also know how to position the value, then pricing should be almost easy, right? It should almost be like a nudge over the line just to get them to buy. But too often, because we don't position the value or we're talking to the right clients, what happens is we don't sell. Our close rate goes. Now, one last item. If we know how to prospect, present, position value, and also talk about pricing, there's one thing that encompasses all these. And that is, if I could put a big box around it, and that is persuasion. Now, when I use the word persuasion, I mean it's the ability to guide a customer through a thought process, to a decision-making process. If you think about it, why do customers hold back? Anxiety typically, right? A lot of anxiety low certainty. Our job is to lower that anxiety and increase that certainty. If you can do that, then the customer's more likely to buy. But too often, we never give thought to persuasion. We think it's a bad word, like, oh, you're just trying to sell people something they don't want. No. Persuasion is about knowing, here's my customer's problems. Here are their issues. My job is to ask certain questions to guide their thought process so they can see how we can help them. Now, really think about that, to see how we can help them. That's positioning value. Brent Adamson said something interesting. When you're looking at all this, right, how to talk to your customers, a lot of what holds the customer back is not so much your presentation skill, your persuasion skills, is the customer's low confidence in themselves to make a buying decision. Now think about it. That's kind of interesting, actually. It's the customer's low confidence in themselves to make a buying decision. Maybe in the past they've made a bad decision, and now they don't trust themselves to make a new decision. They may want to make the decision, but they're worried that from a professional standpoint, it might impact them, right? In other words, other people in the organization are looking at them. Our job is to imbue, and I love that word, imbue the customer with the confidence to make a buying decision. Like really ruminate on that thought. It is our ability to what? Lift up their confidence so they can go ahead and make a buying decision. So again, I just wanted to get online here real quick just to kind of emphasize, these are the 4 things we should work on all year. And maybe just pick one. Maybe I should get for the first quarter, I just focus on prospecting, or maybe just the first month. Month number 2, let's work on the presentation skills. How do we use analogies? How do we use stories? How do we use examples, case studies to really impact the actual presentation, right? And when we look at positioning value, beyond return on investment, talk about, cost of avoidance, of not doing anything, cost of inaction, right? Talk about what will happen about market share. In other words, how are you going to lose market share if you don't take action, or how much market share can you get? If we know how to position the value, the storyline becomes very easy. And when we get to pricing, it's not going to be a big deal. Again, 10 to 15% of deals are lost on pricing. One could argue that. I'm not going to push back on that too hard. But in reality, the majority, let's call it the 80-20 rule, 80% of people are not making a buying decision based on pricing, or if not making a buying decision, they simply don't feel the certainty, and there's too much anxiety that we haven't lowered. And again, persuasion is all about how do you tell the story about your product in such a way that the customer gets it and says, that's how it can help me. If you can master that skill, you're going to be great at selling this coming year. And that is it. That's all I wanted to talk about. Check out the Sales Influence podcast. Just released some new videos or some new recordings. The Marcus Sheridan interview is great. Check out the Sales Velocity Academy. And we got, Mark Rodriguez. Victor, can you speak to how OpenAI can help us deliver a more compelling message to our prospects? On that, Mark, I think I could toot my own horn here. I think I was the first person that wrote the book on AI in sales. In other words, my book, Sales Ex Machina, talked about how AI was going to impact the world of selling. And in there, I talked about there's certain levels of how we use AI. And we're now at the point of augmenting the individual. So AI will augment your ability to be better. It's not going to be autonomous and work on its own. So when you see this GPT AI and all these things like Lens, again, to a certain point, we can use some of these tools. But I think we should look at AI as not replacing us, and they're going, in other words, it's full autonomy. The machine doesn't need you. What I think you should look at it, reframe it, it should augment your ability to actually deliver real good content. Let me know if that helps. VA, the goat in sales. I don't think so, but thank you, Joshua. Appreciate that compliment. Jonathan Fitz, been a long time, man. Glad to be on here. And again, by the way, also check out Sales World. If you haven't checked out Sales World, it's the new metaverse platform I just put out there. We got 20 plus great speakers at Sales World. The website, I'll just write it. Go to Sales World. If you haven't checked it out, it is a must check out. The MV stands for Metaverse. It is the first, just like I delivered the first AI in sales book, it is the first metaverse, for salespeople. I got 20 plus great speakers in there. I just highlighted Tim Reister this morning in a LinkedIn article. Check out his presentation. His presentation is a beast. I mean, that guy's amazing. So we got some great people in there. Mark's been in there. He says Sales World is crazy good. By the way, it's open 24/7. As I was putting Sales World together, what I wanted to do was also create like an entertainment platform as well. So it's like going like to a sales conference in virtual Singapore, by the way. But also check out the entertainment lounge. Mark, let me know if you checked out the entertainment lounge. I got a movie theater in there. I got a comedy theater in there. I got a wild card room in there, and I got an inspiration room in there. I also got something called the Island Retreat. Check out Matt Dixon's presentation on the beach in Sales World. What else do we have? The Hall of Legends. Oh, my favorite room. I created the Hall of Legends where I put 8 sales legends. Check it out. Let me see. Crispin Cruz, my man. By the way, thank you for the doing the podcast and letting me on your podcast, Crispin. Sales Ones is amazing. Got to check it out. So much awesome content. It really is. Crispin, I think it's going to hit. Again, people keep asking me, is this open all the time? Yeah, 24/7, 365. You don't pay anything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to curate the best content, the best speakers. And so you can go in there and access for free. And so, again, it's open 24/7, 365. And I'm hoping folks from the international market can really access this content. I get people who sometimes tell me, Victor, I can't afford your Sales Velocity Academy. And I get that. And for those of you who can't afford it, guess what? I got Sales World. It's free. So there's no excuse not to up your sales game. Mark Rodriguez says, drop some salsa in there, brother. I had a reggaeton by Bad Bunny in there. I just took it out. Al Palmetier, checking out Sales World right now. Crazy. It is crazy, man. By the way, the crazy cool part about Sales World is when you actually start networking, when your avatar floats around and you can network with other people. So you can click on somebody. If they accept, you can do a chat conversation or you can do a video conference, like a little mini Zoom call with your avatar actually in Sales World. So check that out, man. Just said, I can't wait to, check it out and please share it. Like I said, it's free. And I really want people to share this thing. I've been pushing it hard because it's such a great experience. It's a 3D experience. You get to move through the space. But again, check out some of the cool rooms. Look for the teleport buttons. And check out, again, the Entertainment Lounge is hot. The Hall of Legends is hot. It's all hot. You know what I mean? Mark Rodriguez, won't be long before you can use VR in there. Yeah, virtual reality. One day, I think this is the first step, getting in there and just being in the verse. Fast forward to your point, Mark, it's going to be like, boom, put the goggles on, put the joysticks in your hand, and start doing things in there. So I look forward to that as well. But I think this is a good first step. Adrian Pena, or is it Pena? Well, that's your question. What do you think I should charge for video editing on a monthly basis? Well, that's a big question, man, Adrian, but I'll answer it anyway. I won't back out. First of all, I'll give you my legal excuse, cop-out is, well, it depends. Everybody's going to tell you that, right? Here's what it depends on. You should actually look at how much editing you're doing. I would look at, why don't you reverse the process? How much is your time worth? That's always a good way of looking at things, Adrian. How much is your time worth, right? And then estimate, what is it going to cost for me to, one, film it? Like I do a lot of video editing, but video, actually getting to the location, filming it using 1 or 2 cameras, then going back, downloading all the content. So you get there, you got to set everything up, everything from the camera to the lights. How many hours are you taking to do that? Next, downloading everything, prepping everything for editing. Boom, how much is that going to take? How long is that going to take you? Then you get into the editing. How long is that going to take you? And then you get into any post-editing revisions at the end. Well, how much is that going to take you? So how much time is that going to take you? So that's how I would start thinking about it. So let's say you're a $50 an hour guy. I don't know what the right rate is because if you got monster skill levels, then it's probably higher than that. But let's say it's $50 in the US here. So if you know a project is going to take you a full day just to record, that's 8 hours. You got your number already, right? And I think that's the low side. Then, if it's going to take you another full day, that's 2 days, that's 16 hours. Any post-editing after that, maybe a third day, it's 24 hours. 24 hours times your rate is what I would charge. That's the best way of looking at it. If you're really good, if your services are really good, make sure you charge a lot of money for your services, okay? I think when you charge, too often we think that charging a low price is a good thing. Horrible strategy. If you want to get business and people who always want changes, that's what you're going to attract. So find companies who have the money, who already know that they need video. Okay, so it's not so much what you should charge, it's who you should find and who you should target, qualify, and then aim your guns there and say, these are the people I want to deal with. And set a minimum. If you're not going to do a project for less than X amount, say, I'm not doing projects for less than this amount of money. Hope that helps. Let me know if that helps, Adrian. Crispin, got to check out the Hall of Legend. It's so cool seeing all those amazing sales leaders. I mean, it is awesome. Like I said, I thought it was a fun little room to create. Jess said, I will share with my digital marketing groups. Jess, do it. You are awesome. By the way, I like the Jess do it. That's pretty cool. My man, Cast Ahead. Adrian, you should ask him. Ask Chris Stone. Cast Ahead, charge more than you're comfortable asking for. Video editing. There he is. So Cast Ahead, which is my man Chris Stone. Chris does all my podcasts, really. So all the video editing you see on my podcast, Chris Stone at Cast Ahead does it. And he does an amazing job. I think he charges me too much, but I think he's worth it. Do you know what I mean? So he's not going to like hearing that. But anyway, Adrian, you're very welcome, Adrian, man. Victor, your energy is that of the road run on crack. Yeah, I think so, man. I try to slow down, man. It's just like, I don't know. I can't explain it. But if you see me off camera, I'm very chilled, man. I think, right? Great advice. Helped a lot. Thank you. Yeah. Listen to Chris Stone's advice, Adrian. Don't undersell yourself, okay? But anyway, on that note, any feedback on Sales World, I mean, things we should improve on or not, or things we should do differently or add, let me know. For my Spanish community, I haven't forgotten you. There's 2 Spanish speakers in there, Luis Fallas and Edward Rodriguez. So there's actually 2 presenters in Sales World who do the presentation in Spanish. Okay, and actually if you look at their name banner, you'll see it says Español. And so in the future, what I plan to do is have a separate, plaza for just, Spanish speaking speakers, because it's such a big market here in North America, right? And so we're going to add that down the road. So Sales World is just, as you're seeing it today, it's the first revision. So that's why any feedback you can provide, man, I would greatly appreciate that. Anything else, guys, before I jump off? Like I said, I'll probably start doing more lives now. I really want to start highlighting the Sales World more and more. Are you open to training content for automotive community? No, Mark, it has to be something very specific, if it's about sales in general, that's what the content I'm looking for. And so, by the way, I work with a great company not too far from here in Atlanta. I forgot their name. They focused in on the automobile industry. It's a great industry. I've done videos for them. But the more sales like we can keep it, the better. For example, if you look at the process of selling, everything from prospecting to presenting, to proposals, to pricing, to persuasion and closing. That's the stuff we're looking for. And if you're a leader, anything from management, leadership, motivation, things of that nature that fit everybody, then that's what I would do. But Mark, maybe there's an opportunity for you to create your own car world, right? Great car world, and I provide that content. Pat says, do not use your own wallet to determine your client's budget. Adrian, listen to what that man is saying. Listen to what Pat is saying. Do not use your own wallet to determine your client's budget. What he is saying, if I can interpret him, is that too often we think, well, I wouldn't pay that. I don't know if I could afford that. And you're buying with your wallet, or in this case, you're selling with your wallet. Never sell with your own wallet. Okay? Look at the market, look what type of pricings are out there, and then just boom, present your pricing. And too often, when you're hesitant about your pricing, that means the client can detect it. And when the client can detect that hesitancy, Adrian, all of a sudden that's when they start negotiating. But if you're good at what you do, stand firm with your pricing, charge a lot of money, and if you're getting a lot of customers, move the number up. But again, look for quality clients, because here's what I found. You tell me if you guys agree. I've realized that the clients who've always wanted the most discounts, always wanted the lower prices, these are my early days, so Adrian, listen carefully. In my early days, these people who always wanted the lower pricing turned out to be the worst clients. They always wanted changes. They always wanted revisions. They always wanted, extra training, extra support. They were just nightmares because they were the least amount. What I found is those people who pay the price, they know your value, are just easier clients to deal with. That's a big lesson you got to learn. So take Pat's advice. Don't sell with your wallet, but keep in mind, you want to find people who are willing to pay, see your value, and pay the price. That's what you want. So let me see. Adrian says, sometimes I feel guilty doing sales. Any advice on that? You feel guilty. Why do you feel guilty? You got the wrong mindset, my brother. You got the wrong mindset. If you think selling is about selling, then you got it wrong. Selling is about helping somebody else. I don't know if you realize this. Selling is a value for value proposition. Value for value. Now, if I need a video, right? I need a video. I say, Adrian, I need this video. I need this, I don't know, introduction video, right? That I want to use. Now, what service are you providing me? If you say, Victor, I'm providing you a video, you're missing the point. No, you're helping me get more business, because if you do that video right, I'm going to show that video to clients. Clients are going to say, I want to book Victor. I want to give him more business. You've just helped me grow my business. So if you help me grow my business, shouldn't you make money? Let's say you're working for a manufacturing company and they got a new product and you're doing a video on a new product video. If they sell more of that product, they're going to make a lot of money. So why shouldn't you make money by charging them to make the video that's going to help them make money? Remember, Adrian, please, for God's sakes, sales is a value for value proposition. When you deliver value, there's nothing wrong with getting value in return. Never forget that. You're not just selling editing services. That's wrong. You're not just selling video services. That's wrong. You're selling a marketing tool that's going to help them sell more. Wrong mindset. So shift that mindset, man. I'm glad you're listening, man. Sergio's true. Yep, I'm dealing with this right now. Sergio's laughing at something. And cast ahead, my man Chris Stone knows that's my favorite phrase. It's a phrase I learned from the philosopher Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand wrote the book Atlas Shrugged, The Fountainhead. She's the founder of the School of Objectivism. And she said that when you're and you have a relationship with anyone, whether it's your spouse, whether it's a friend, or whether it's a business entity or colleague, it always has to be a value for value proposition. I give you value, I expect value in return. When somebody violates that covenant, that agreement, then they're taking advantage of you. If you're providing more value but they don't want to pay you, then that's not real value for value. That's not capitalism. Capitalism is value for value. So don't feel guilty about selling. If you're that good, charge them. And you know what? If you charge them and you're really good at what you do and it generates more business for you, then what's the problem? Make your money, man. Anyway, hope that helps, Adrian. Didn't mean to beat up on you too much there. Got a couple more comments down here, and then I'll start cruising out of here. Let me see. Camless, value for value proposition, you got it. Cast ahead, which is Chris Stone again. Video editors sell recovered time for business people. Isn't that a beautiful phrase? They sell recovered time. In other words, they're not investing that time. They don't make videos. You got to do more lives. This is extremely valuable. You're very welcome. I got to do more lives. You're right. The best deal in life. The best deal is the lifesaver service in IT. Oh, of course, yeah. Everything depends on IT. Agent Casa, thank you for everything. Crispin Cruz, selling is your role, not your identity. Boom. Take that one. That's a good one. Never feel guilty about performing your role as a salesperson. It's all about mindset and attitude. Great advice, Victor. It helped a lot. It was just what I needed. Good for you, man. And so when somebody says, can I have it free? Don't do it. Christo says, bring back sales after dark. Probably won't, but I'm glad I can hear you asking. So anyway, this is my big push right now. Check out Sales World. Hope you like, if you like the content, great. I'll probably do more lives, Adrian. So you're probably right, I should do more lives. I actually enjoy this because I think there's a lot of people out there who just need to nudge, because I think most of sales is up here. It's all it is, and all you got to do is have that confidence to convince people. In the model I showed, again, I talked about the prospecting, right? I talked about the presenting. The presenting piece is valuable because you've got to be able to deliver the content without hesitation. Positioning the value is what we're talking about here, is that if they don't see the value, then you're selling to the wrong person. So when I do sales training, I don't train salespeople. And I'm talking to you, Adrian. I don't just train salespeople. That would be the wrong way of looking at it. I train people who will sell more and help the business grow. As their business grows, these salespeople that I train will make more money. These salespeople who make more money probably have a spouse and some kids. Guess what? I'm going to help those kids go to college because I helped train their sales father or sales mother how to sell more. So really, I'm helping their families and the business grow. So if I'm helping the person grow, the business grow, why shouldn't I get value and charge a lot of money for that? See how it works? As soon as you tie that value to the outcome of what they're getting, and then when you're having your sales conversations, when you're in there presenting, and they're like, well, that costs too much. You're like, well, that depends what you do with the video. If you let it sit on the shelf, it has no value. But if this one video generates X amount of business for you, Would that be worth it? And they're going to say, yeah, you're right. That's positioning value, getting them to understand. That's part of the persuasion effect, is getting them to understand, shift their thinking to see that what they're doing and what you're doing for them is helping them sell more. Too often people are focused on price, what they're going to pay. And they don't think about, well, what's it going to do for you if it does work? There it is. Let me see. So, Central Obsessions. Oh, you're back, man. My man, Central Obsessions started his own business, still going at it, man. I'm proud of you, man. I am proud of you. All right. Do you have any, I got to jump off here. Do you have any seminars or anything in California? I do not, man. I love going to California. I don't like the long ride, but yeah, it's been a while. I'm going to try to do a lot of stuff virtual, but nothing in California. But I'll try to do more lives. And if you enjoyed this, great. Again, do me the favor. Besides going to Sales World, if you love this content, share it with at least one person. That's all I ask. And it gets around. Central, I appreciate you always, brother. Thank you very much. All right, on that note, I got to jump on another call in about 5 minutes, so I'm out of here. Take care, guys. Thank you for joining me.